What is up, everyone, and a very good morning to each and every single one of you here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Happy to be here with you. Of course, inside of the Heritage Hill Studios, we bring you Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both / Wake Up Call DT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. And of course, Heritage Hill Brewhouse is out in Pompey on Sweet Road in the rolling hills of central and upstate New York. And then you'll find Heritage Hill North right in the heart of the hustle and bustle on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse. Two fantastic locations, one out in nature, like I said, out in the country, and then one all through the different towns that are right there, bonding us with different pieces of central and upstate New York, from Liverpool to East Syracuse to North Syracuse to Cicero to Clay, and to not being that far from downtown Syracuse. So Heritage Hill North and Heritage Hill Brewhouse, the exclusive studio partner of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have an awesome show set up for you today, so thank you for your patience. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com is what's popping. We're going to do our trio of Friday segments, and the last time I did the trio of these segments, we were actually in Florida. It was my first day down in the great state of Florida, and I really, it's crazy because it felt like I was down there for a while, and now it feels like it's so weird to say, like, that was a week ago. It was already a week ago that I was down in Florida. So when I was there, it felt like it was longer than the time that I was there, and now reflecting on it, it feels like it went by so fast. And we did these trio of segments last week from my second home of Florida, and now we're back in the studios to do it here and bring you the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is what the acronym stands for. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A, Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay. The top dog of the week, which will start off hour number 2, presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Then we'll go live picture-in-picture with Ross Turetsky, fellow sportscaster and writer, joining me to speak on Major League Baseball as well as the college football schedule releases. College football released some of its upcoming 2024-25 schedule, and we're going to have an opportunity to talk about that with Ross. And then on his valedictory day, and if you don't know what a valedictory day is, it's the final day. It's the finale. This is the last day that Mike Aresco will serve as the official commissioner of the American Athletic Conference, passing the torch. And he has been the commissioner the entire time of the American Athletic, and he helped design the logo. He helped with the name. He helped with everything and all these pieces of realignment. The American Athletic Conference wouldn't be here without Mike Aresco and his team, and Mike joins me on his final day serving as the commissioner of the American Athletic, which is all too poetic because I was with him from the beginning. He was with me, and he's been on the show, hard to believe, over a decade. So how that time flew. So very happy to have Mike Aresco on the show. As we're going to extend the show out today, he's going to join us at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So a lot of great stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. I've been waiting a week to give you this one. Let's go into the annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment of the week. Oh, folks. How I've waited to tell thee my annoying moment of the week. So, my annoying moment of the week. It happened down in Florida. And how do I start this is the question. I mean, really, we should just dive in because I was at the pool. Speedos should not be worn by men. I know they were created to be. I'm not here to knock the Speedo company. But whoever thought it was a good idea to give a man a rubber band to put around his parts, I severely disagree with you. I'm upset with you, and I don't like it. You know, I'm down at the pool, hanging out, you know, spent some time with Mom. And Mom and I are minding our business, you know, just being at the pool, talking, having a nice time, speaking about, you know, things that matter to us and what are we going to do on the trip and this and that and whatever. And here comes Speedo. Not one, but two together. And okay, let's go back to the first time that I saw a Speedo. It was also in Florida. And so I was probably like 14 years old. And I was walking at Caribbean Beach at Disney. So their hotel at Disney Caribbean Beach, which I love. My parents love it too. And there was this guy walking. He was probably in his 40s. And he was walking with his mom. And he had a Speedo on. He had this little black Speedo on. And he was walking with like his 70-year-old mom. And he smiled at me. And he was like, hey, hi, how are you? And I was like, not great right now. I'll tell you that much. So, you know, it was one of those things where, I mean, he's a nice guy. You know. But I just remember going, never did I think I'd see a man wear a Speedo. And if I was ever going to see a man wear a Speedo, never did I think that it was going to be when he was walking with his mother. But yet, here we are. And here I am having to see this terrifying thing. And I don't know what it is about Speedos. I don't know what men feel like, what they like about it. I know some people say it's a European thing. I think that's what Americans say when we don't know what it is. We just go, oh, it's a European thing, right? That's how we describe things that I feel like we don't understand or we don't do. You see something different and they go, they do that in Europe. That's what Europe does. Because we could blame Europe. How many people are going to go to Europe and actually know? But whether Speedos are a European problem or not, they were a problem at the pool. And one of the gentlemen was wearing a Speedo with the United States flag on it. And I think that should be treason. I feel like that's a treasonous thing. If treasonous is a word, I believe that's a treason. That's should be called treason. I'm not saying he should be kicked out of this country, but I am saying that it's treasonous. I would never wear a rubber band around my parts. It doesn't look safe, first and foremost. Number two, I don't understand why a man would want to wear the bottoms of a lady. You know what I mean? It looks like the bottom of a bikini with no top. So what I did was I sent to one of my friends that I love dearly. I sent him a picture of it from across the pool. I sent a picture, and I was like, you told me to send you pictures of. Well, he didn't tell me to send any pictures, but I was like, I'm sending you pictures of this topless person, right? I'm gonna send you some topless and bottoms here. Look at you getting these fun pictures, and he didn't expect to see what he saw. He said it was the wrong stuff. It was the wrong thing. Wrong sites. I said, here are the sites at the pool. And he said, wrong sites. But that's something that I just feel like we don't need. I don't think the world needs it. It's my opinion. But I don't know. I've never in my life saw a Speedo and thought to myself, you know what? And I like my body, right? I love myself. Proud of myself. I would not wear one because I don't know. I also wouldn't wear Crocs. And I know that some people have differences of thoughts on this, but I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't wear them. There's nothing about them that makes me go, yes. To me, they look like Mickey's shoes, like Mickey or Minnie's shoes. They have holes in them. So if it rains, that's a no-go. People tell me they're comfortable. They don't look comfortable. Maybe they are comfortable. I don't know. But they look like these rubber fake cartoon shoes. And I feel like when you put them on, you should almost do like some type of old folk dance. I can't wrap my head around Crocs and the fact that Brett Favre wore them when he took all those wonderful pictures to Jen Sturger. But Crocs and Speedos for men. I struggle with it. I do. And I can't get around it. I can't support it. I just can't. And again, this is no offense to the Speedo company. This is no offense to the Crocs company, because you do great work and what, people love your products. I just feel like men should not wear things that might prevent you from having children. I don't think a man should wear any type of thongish apparatus. And when I saw it at the pool, it made me sad. Now, great things happen on my trip, and I have nothing to complain about whatsoever. But that was the beginning. And also the fact that they wore the bucket hats, the people wearing the Speedos, the guys doing that, they were wearing the bucket hats. And my buddy and I love bucket hats. A couple buddies of mine love bucket hats. So that was like a really difficult thing for me to, have to see that too, because I'm like, the bucket hat is what I love. The Speedo is what I don't. And I'm seeing it together. And it was just there. The pool wasn't massive. Because people say, well, Dan, look in a different direction. The pool, it was a quiet pool. It was away from the other pools. It was meant to be a place of peace, not a place of treason and blasphemy and terror, but it was. And so my annoying moment of the week is just men. I mean, I don't know. And maybe one of you listening or watching can enlighten me. Why do you wear them? You know what I mean? Why? Why do you wear them? And when you have the American flag in there, I don't think that's where our forefathers wanted the flag to be planted. I can't envision my grandfathers going, we fought against Germany and Japan and the Axis powers in the hopes that one day you, on Memorial Day weekend, would put it on your junk. But hey, to each their own. But to me, blah. We'll take a step aside for a fast. I can't. I just can't. That's been the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. And oh boy. So it's too much. It's too much, gents. Please just do something else. You know what I mean? If you want to do it at your pool, at your house, in the comfort of your own home. I mean, I don't want you to not be yourself, because I'm all about being yourself, right? I'm all about that. And people are like, oh, Dan, come on. Like, what if somebody wants to and they just love it? I think that women look beautiful in that garb. I think women look wonderful, and I appreciate women comfortable with their bodies going out there and feeling good about themselves. And when a man feels comfortable about his body, put some shorts on, okay? We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Oh, that was the annoying moment of the week. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. So happy to be here with you. I'm still laughing over the fact that, there's so many things that I can say. And again, men, women, do you enjoy your lives. I'm not here to make fun of people. I can't wrap my head around Speedos or any type of rubber band around a man's place, nor can I get around the Crocs for the gents. I don't even think about it. And then when it's right in front, like when it's right there, when it's right there, you know what I mean? I did make a postcard of the picture and sent it to my dad, and I said, "From Florida with love." I thought he appreciated that. He didn't. but from the Heritage Hill Studios, this is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and it's time to get into lead. Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. That's what the acronym stands for. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today's topic is natural medicine. Natural medicine. And what does this mean? What's natural medicine? Well, Dan, simply, it's medicine from nature, right? But what am I talking about? Am I talking about a pill? No. I'm talking about utilizing precious time that is free to give yourself some relaxation, some time to think, some time to ponder, and to take care of yourself. Natural medicine. I just had some. When I was out in Florida, my mom and I spent a part of every single day by the pool, at the pool, in the sun. We gave ourselves time to just be in the sun, to have that natural medicine, that sunlight. You know, they say that there are things in life that can be medicine. Fresh air, sun, things that you don't have to pay for and you can enjoy. And when I think about these natural medicine pieces, it just made me want to speak on it today and say, how much natural medicine are you getting? How much natural medicine am I getting? Do we know what natural medicine is? Are we paying attention to it? Are we enjoying it? Sunshine, water, rest, air, exercise, and diet were things that somebody had written as the best doctors. And it made me think about this stuff. It made me think about my life. And it made me think about what the sunlight did for me. It made me think about what I need to do in my life. Because when you take that time to just sit in the sun or swim in a pool, to me, it's when I get to have those really deep conversations with myself. It's when I get to have those really deep conversations with my mom. It's when I get to have those really just silent moments where I'm just kind of thinking about things. It's something about the sun and the pool that clears my head. It gives me time to just be. It's natural. It's untouched. The water is moving as it wants to move. The sun is doing what it wants. And there's so many things in life we try to control, realizing that the only thing you can control is yourself, realizing that the only thing that you can do is be the best version of yourself. I can't control anything outside of me. And most of our stress in life comes from the desire to want to control that stuff. It comes from that. You know, it comes from this want to be in control at all times of everything we see, of everything that's going on. We want to have control, right? Because if we have control, then nothing can hurt us. Then we can get what we want, when we want it, how we want it, where we want it, from who we want it from. But think about God. All-powerful, omnipresent, absolute perfection. Yet, God does not force himself upon us. Does not declare that we have to love him. Says, do what you want to do. There are consequences. Just like there's consequences to anything in life. But love me or don't love me, that is your choice. Be with me or don't be with me, that is your choice. God has the power to snap fingers, and everybody on the planet does what he wants to do. Be a robot. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. So easy. Boom. Everybody loves him. He created us. He has the power to force us to love him. But he doesn't. He does not force us to love him. Yet we as human beings try to force other human beings to do what we want them to do so that we don't have to go through the angst and the nerves and the fear and the craziness. But God, the all-powerful, all-knowing, incredible, one and only, does not force their love. Does not force us to love them back. But simply gave us free will to make our own choices. And that's hard. It's hard for a parent. You think of God as a parent of all of us. It's hard for a parent. Think about your kids. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just think the thought they should take out the trash and then they went and took out the trash? If you didn't have to ask them to take out the trash, you didn't have to ask them to take a shower, you didn't have to ask them to cut their toenails. Wouldn't it be nice? We think it would be nice. We want to ask that girl to prom or that guy to prom. We just want them to say yes. And we could control that. Oh, yeah, they're going to say. But think about that. Then life becomes nothing. Life becomes shallow. Life becomes robotic, like I said. If we could force somebody to say yes, if we could force somebody to do what we want them to do, to take out the trash, to go on the date with us, to do this, to do that, then we don't know if anybody really, truly loved us, really, truly cares, because we're not allowing them the choice. Love is hard. Life is hard. And I've said before, love isn't hard, people are. But when I say love is hard, that's what I mean. It's not easy. It's not easy to do anything in life that matters. Building my business was not easy. It wasn't overnight, and I'm constantly evolving and thinking, and how can I make this better, and what can I do, and is this the right avenue, and I use this, should I use this again? Should I use something different? Do I think that this is working? Is this beneficial? Do I want to buy this new equipment? Life is not about easy stuff giving us the best that it can. Easy stuff doesn't bring out the best in us. It doesn't make us better. It's the tough stuff. It's the really difficult things that help to make us who we are. Falling in love, embracing love, letting someone love us, being open to it, allowing ourselves to give love. So many of us have been hurt. Romantic love, friendship love, family love. We have all been hurt. And I don't mean this in a negative way, and I'm not wishing bad on anybody. We will all be hurt at some point in our lives. We're going to love somebody that doesn't love us back. We're going to give to somebody who doesn't give back. That's life. That's the world. That's what we live in. But there will come that person that will love us back. There will come that person that is trying to get through. There will come that person that we want to love, and we have to take that chance. There will come that friend who comes after a friend. I had this happen to me. There will be that friend that comes after a friend that broke your heart, that hurt you, that you thought was family, that you would do anything for. Take a bullet for. And that friend disappears. That friend gives up years. That friend that you thought was by your side, always going to be with you, best man at your wedding, never, ever, ever going to lose that person. If you lost everybody, you wouldn't lose them. And then they go away. And then you have another friend that you confide in, that you trust, that you appreciate. But you're afraid to tell them that you love them. You're afraid to call them a brother. You're afraid to call them family because you don't want to get hurt like that other person hurt you. But they don't even know that person. And you have to find a way. When you want to go after your dreams, you will go through tough stuff. There's a reason why there's the stereotypical story of somebody wants to be an actor or an actress. They move to Hollywood and they end up serving tables. They end up working, these side jobs and doing this and doing that and auditioning and doing this and doing that and auditioning and making enough money to afford the apartment so they could keep auditioning. When you go after your dreams, when you go after the girl you want, when you go after the guy you want, when you go after the friendships you want, when you go after the job you want, when you go after the career you want, you have to understand that it has to be hard at times. It has to be. I've wanted to be a dad my whole life, and I'm an uncle to so many tremendous nieces and nephews. And every single one of my nieces and nephews, there's something that is hard. There's something that is difficult. There's something that makes you want to hold them and protect them and not let the world touch them. There are things that they'll ask you that aren't fair. My godson has diabetes. And I'll never forget that he sat in the back of my buddy, who's a brother to me, Johnny, sat in the back. He was in the back seat, and they pull into the driveway. And Noah says, my godson, says to his father, Johnny, he says, "Dad, this isn't fair. I shouldn't have to live like this." That's what he said. As a little boy, he said, "Dad, I should not have to live like this." And he shouldn't. But you know what? He's still Noah. He's still, with everything that he has to do with diabetes and check this and make sure he's got this and that, he's still his beautiful, amazing self. Because life handed him adversity, and he has chosen to be Noah. He loved Spider-Man before diabetes. He loves him after. He loved Disney before, watching those shows, watching those movies. He loves it after. He loved his action figures and putting things together and doing different things, and he loves it after. He, was into soccer at a young age, and he's still playing. See, I'm talking about natural medicine, and what I'm really getting at is I need you to go get out in the sun. I need you. I shouldn't say I need you to. I'm asking you to. I don't need you to. I'm gonna do what I do no matter what. But I'd like you to get out in the sun. I would like you today, even if it's raining, to go sit on the couch by the window and close your eyes and listen to the rain. We have over-explained and over-identified and over when it comes to life. Life is simple. Life is simple. It is hard, but it is simple. When I talk about life is simple, you said, "Dan, how is life simple?" Because think about what you want in life. Life is simple. The little things become the big things. The little things put together become the big picture. every kiss, every phone call, every text message, every time you show somebody, hey, I care about you. I was thinking about you. I wanted to say goodnight. I wanted to say good morning. You've never had a morning where I haven't said good morning to you. And I'm not going to let you have a night where I don't say goodnight to you. When you have consistency, my mother growing up used to sing to me pretty much every single night. And I still remember some of those nights. I still remember some of those feelings. I still remember some of those moments where my mother came into the room and she sang to me. Not because she had to, not because I demanded it, but because my mother wanted to. That natural instinct of my mom to say, if I sing to him, because think about it, there had to be a first time. There had to be a first time that my mother said, I'm going to sing my little baby to sleep. There had to be a first time where she thought, this is a good idea. And I still love when my mother sings. And I love to sing with her because God has given me that gift, and my mom, and we get to sing together. She passed that on to me. And I love that singing with my mom and having that time with her. Life is simple. It's being there. It's listening. It's caring. It's a hug. It's a smile. It's remembering something that somebody told you. Remembering their birthday. Remembering today is a big day for them. Remembering they have an event tonight. When I have an event at 6 o'clock and at 5:59 I get a text message that says, hey, I hope your event goes well tonight. Little things like that give you chills. Little things like that matter. Natural medicine. Nature. Things, what I'm talking about is things that are free. Some of them exist in nature, some of them exist in our heart. But it's natural medicine. It's the things that we can seek to find ourselves. I am not going to sit here and tell you that everything in your life is going to be easy. Everything in your life that matters is going to be hard at times. If it's important to you, it's probably going to be hard at some point. That's life. That's how life goes. Do I want things to be easy? Yeah, I mean, it would be great if we could snap our fingers and things could work. But again, if that's what we did, if we could just snap our fingers, then how would we know if anything is real? How would we know if anything matters? We wouldn't. So when I have this time with my natural medicine, when I have this time to sit and be in the sun, be in the pool, and think, when I have this time to reflect, when I have this time to just be, it gives me an opportunity to think about things, think them through, and think about what matters to me. I took a walk yesterday with Lily. I love taking walks with Lily. It allowed me to open up my brain. It allowed me to think. It allowed me to just be with her, to do something nice for her, to do something nice for me, and to give me some time to just reflect. To reflect, to be amazed, to be in wonder, to just be. We live in a society of, there's a pill for that. 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 Get rich quick. Lose fat quick. Quick, quick, quick. But the quick exit, the quick revolving door of things, it doesn't... Think about this. If you're 400 pounds and you get liposuction, you think, I'm 400 pounds, now I'm 200 pounds. I ate whatever I wanted. I didn't have to do a darn thing, and now I look better. You haven't changed your habits. You're going to have to get liposuction again because you ate whatever you wanted. You're 400 pounds. Now you're 200 pounds. Now you're going to go eat whatever you wanted again because your habits haven't changed, because you had a quick fix, and you're going to be right back where you started. That's something you have to learn in life. If you don't learn the lessons, you are doomed to repeat yourself. Whatever, get rich quick, get this quick, whatever comes, I will never forget this. Whatever comes easily goes just as easily. Whatever comes to you easily goes just as easily. If there is no work involved, if there is no tough involved, if there is no sweat involved, it is not easy in life to have the most important things. But when you love something, when you care about something, that hard stuff, you just do it. See, I was thinking in my head, I'm coming back from my trip and I'm doing back-to-back events. I should give myself some time. I should come back from my trip, do nothing at night. I should do my shows in the morning, do nothing at night, relax, recharge the batteries, reset, and then I'll do it. No, I jumped right into events. I literally came home on Wednesday, had an event yesterday, got an event tonight. But if I didn't have my event yesterday, I wouldn't have bumped into my buddy. I wouldn't have got to talk to him. I wouldn't have gotten advice from him. I wouldn't have gotten that love that I appreciate that he gives freely to me. I wouldn't have had it. I wouldn't have had those conversations. I wouldn't have had those moments. And if I thought about what I did in a given day, I did this one time with my dad. I said, you know what I do let's just pick a day in the life of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. I said, I get up in the morning, I go to the studio, I set up everything on the live feed for video, I set up everything on the live feed for audio. I have to go through everything, I have to write everything, I have to make sure everything's there, I have to have all the slides up, I have to have all of the Zooms set that are going to be going on. So the Zooms have to be set, each of the pieces of the show has to be set, the commercials have to be right, the logos have to be right, all of the informational pieces have to be right, the intro has to be right, it has to be set to start at the beginning again. Once I set all that stuff up, I have to go into each of our avenues that we stream on. I have to make sure that all the streams have all the information. Once they have all the information, I hit go. Then I do the show. I have to have the information I'm going to talk about. Once I have that information, I go forward. I talk about these different things. I understand these pieces, and I go through all of this. I have to remember phone numbers. I have to remember who's this and who's that, what partnership has this, what partnership has that. And then when we come in and out of our breaks, I have to know to go, when I'm going to the next segment, how am I going to transition? I try to transition smoothly. I've done that my entire career. I don't just chop and go and chop and go. I think when you're telling a story, you have to bring things together, even if it's hard to show that connection. I like the challenge. When the show's over, I'll have some time to myself, then I'll have a meeting. Sometimes I'm recording something, sometimes I'm going to a meeting. I go to the meeting. If that meeting has a recording like today does, I'll do a recording at the meeting. So I'm in the car, I'm doing the recording, and then later on tonight I have an event. I have to prep for that event, make sure there's a slide ready for that event, get to the event early, test all the audio, make sure everything's working inside of the restaurant, make sure everything's working on my computer, set that all up, and then figure out how we're going to divvy up who's coming on the show, have those people on at different parts, and then I'm done for the day. And amidst all of this, I'm making phone calls. Amidst all of this, I'm working on partnerships. Amidst all of this, I'm planning what next week's shows are going to be. That's a day in the life of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. It's a lot, but I love it. And to me, it's life. To me, it's not a job because I love doing it. Am I tired sometimes? You betcha. Do I sometimes want to sleep all day? Absolutely. Absolutely. But what drives me, what pushes me, is my passion and my love for it. And when I need to reset, when I need to shut down the engine and recharge the batteries, I go to God. I go to nature. I go to something that is going to give me an opportunity to reset, to recharge, to refuel, to refocus. My natural medicine. And this past week, I got a lot of natural medicine. I was able to get in the sun and say to myself, if I don't know what to think, if I don't know what to do, if I don't know how to move forward, I'm going to sit in the sun and I'm going to talk to my mom. I'm going to talk to someone I love who has my best interest at heart always. I'm going to sit in the sun and I'm going to talk it through in my own head. I'm going to sit in the sun and I'm going to pray. I'm going to sit in the sun and I'm going to just breathe. How much time are you taking for yourself today? How many moments are you letting pass you by, and how many moments are you taking to just recenter yourself, to get refocused? When we feel like we're going crazy, we don't, we don't, right? We tell ourselves, I got to take a deep breath. I got to take a deep breath. I got to take a deep breath while we're hyperventilating. So many times in life, we don't do the thing we need to do. We keep doing the thing. We keep getting stressed. We keep getting stressed. And we tell ourselves, I got to take a break. I got to take a breath. I got to sit down. But we don't. But we don't. And we need to take more time listening. That natural medicine. Go and take a walk. Go and take a breath. My mother told me, she goes, go take a walk. Don't listen to any music. Don't listen to anything. Just walk. Just walk. Don't even listen. And so Mary, don't just take a walk. Just take a walk. It's amazing how we think, some of us think, oh, I can't get through this. I got to drink. I can't get through this. I got to smoke. I can't get through this. I got to have physical contact. I can't get through this. I got to have loud music. I can't get through this. I got to run around. I can't get through this. I got to buy something. No. When you feel like you can't get through something, you do the things that are free. Breathing. Sitting. Laying down. Petting your dog. Reading a book, taking a walk, getting in a pool, laying in the sun. I have never had a time in my life where God didn't send me my answer when I was just being quiet. We always ask God to talk to us, but we don't shut up. You can say whatever you want to say to God, but you have to be willing to be quiet to hear the answer. Think about that. Sometimes you talk to somebody on the phone. I've done this. You talk to somebody on the phone and you're asking them and asking them and asking, but you're not stopping. You're going, well, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? What about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? But they can't get a word in. Well, when you talk to God, you can tell God your prayers and your hopes and your wishes and your dreams and your aspirations, but you have to stop at some point and let God speak. God will always give you the answer. I've learned in life that it's never been that God doesn't give me the answer. He just sometimes gave me an answer that I didn't want. But there's never been a time where God has been wrong, and there's never been a time where God has not given me an answer. He's always given me an answer. I just don't always like the answer. But God, without fail, provides an answer. And when I ask God to guide me and to guard me, when I just say those words, I can typically tell in my chest, in my heart, when I say, God, guide me and guard me. Guide me and guard me, guide me and guard them. If I'm dealing with a situation, something, guide and guard us both. I can feel in my heart, just saying those words, if God's going, no. Or he's going, yeah. God and I have such a close relationship, and God doesn't waste my time. We have to stop associating God with the human condition. When you think that God is like a human being, and yes, Jesus was human, divine together. But hear me out here. When we say God, when we think of God like a human being, like we think God is ornery, we think God is angry, like God can't talk to us in the morning unless he had coffee. That's not God. That's not God. God always talks to you. God always works things out with you. And when you feel, yesterday I was talking to God, I was praying, and I felt, when I was saying my words, I felt it like God going, like it clicked. I felt it. I was like, I feel good. I feel at peace. Let me not forget these words. And God was like, I got it. I'll tell you them when you need to hear them. I got this. Natural medicine, sunlight, rest, conversations, quiet, air, just be, pool, just live, exercise, just do it. Just be. You have one life to live, and stress, angst, anxiety, depression, worrying never solved a problem. There's never been a single problem that I've solved by freaking out. You don't always like the answers. But when you look back on your life, it's like, well, if I would have listened to God, I wouldn't have done that. If I had listened, I wouldn't have done it. I would have been better. If I have listened, I would have done that. I would have. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. We ask God for things, but we have to be prepared when we get them. We have to say thank you. We have to be prepared in life to get everything we ask for. And I believe God gives you more than what you asked for. But you have to be prepared for it. There is never going to be a good time to fall in love. There is never going to be a good time to start your career. There is never going to be a good time to go on that trip. You might think this is a perfect time. April, great weather. The tickets are low. It's going to be great. But you still have to plan to leave. Your boss has to give you the time off. You got to make sure someone's watching the dog. What are you doing with the kids? There's going to be some stress. You know, there's never a good time to have a child, right? A family might think, hey, I'm ready to have kids. We've been married for a couple of years. Let's have a baby. And then they have complications. And then it takes them 2.5 years to have a baby. Now they're having a baby 4.5 years in instead of 2 years in. But there's a reason for that. God has a plan. And the plan is always better than yours. And I grew up thinking that my plans were better than God's, and God didn't know. I was going to tell God what the best plans are. If God had listened to me, I wouldn't own my own business. I wouldn't have my name on the door. I wouldn't be able to travel as freely as I do. I wouldn't have a hub in Florida. I wouldn't be back here and say, if I didn't listen to God, there are things in my life that I can't imagine my life without that wouldn't have been there if I hadn't listened. And that natural medicine of just being quiet and breathing and thinking things through in the sun, I don't know how, it just works. And it's always worked. I've always been able to sit in the sun and just be at peace. My grandmother lived to be just shy of 101 years old, and one of the things she loved more than most things in life was sitting in the sun, in quiet, reading a book, and then falling asleep in the sun. She used to get in her little rocking chair, and her little toes, she'd just rock herself in the sun in her backyard, and she'd just go to sleep. And she'd get really tan, and she'd be really just at peace. My grandmother's life was being around the people she loves. It was believing in God first and foremost. Going to church, praying every day, every night. I think every morning. Her belief in God, praying, cooking. Her entire life was very simple. Thank God for your life. Be good to others. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Go get some sun. Provide a home that is warm and welcoming to people, and they will come. I heard something yesterday, and it hit me some kind of way. They said, the problem in our lives is that we look for the person that is the right person. We look for the right person to come into our lives, when instead we should become the right person for ourselves. And when we become the right person for us, when we become the person that we would like to be with, when we become the person that we want to date, that's when that person comes. When you, instead of looking for the qualities in another person, when you say, this is everything that I want to date, when you become that person, that is when it arises. When you exhibit the qualities you're looking for, you attract it. And to me, a lack of fear, a confidence, happiness, comedy, kindness, generosity, time, patience, humility, selflessness, remembering things, making an effort, being there, being supportive, listening, understanding, showing your interest, showing that you pay attention. All that stuff matters. We need to stop being afraid of achieving what we want in life. And we need to go get it. We'll take a step aside for a fast break from the Heritage Hill Studios. We'll be back right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638 1234 or order online at pizzamanbeville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the tastes of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill, as you just heard about, out in Pompey. They're amongst the rolling hills of Central and Upstate New York on Sweet Road at the Brew House, and of course, the newest location, Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, our home for all of my CNS North Star specials. And we will be there again tonight. So we'll come and say thank you to everybody that came out last night and supported a wonderful time that we had with the CNS North Stars softball team, who made it all the way to the sectional championship game this season. And tonight we have the CNS North Stars girls lacrosse team that will be joining me on site, on location at Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse. Cannot wait to have the show with them tonight. And that'll be at Heritage Hill North once again tonight, May 31st at 6 p.m. And we're looking forward to it. So come out and see us, get something to eat for dinner. It's at 6 p.m., so you can come out for dinner, get some drinks if you're of age. Of course, as always, drink responsibly. And we'll have a great time out at Heritage Hill North once again when we do our broadcast tonight from out at Heritage Hill. With that being said, it's time to jump into the top dog of the week. Top dog of the week coming to you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. My top dog of the week proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. First and foremost, Canine Camp Dog Daycare is the place to bring your dog for short-term care. You can find the daycare on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse. They are right off of Bridge Street, across from BJ's Wholesale Club. You will find Canine Camp Dog Daycare. You can call them at 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. You can also go online to learn more information about the daycare by going to K-9 Kamp.com. For the Kampground dog boarding for longer term care for your dog, you can go to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse. Right around the corner from the daycare, you will find the Kampground. Canine Kampground's number is 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Do not waste time, folks. They fill up quick. Each dog gets their own cabin. So those cabins, once they're full, they are full. So if you have an event, you got something going on, you know that you're going to need some help with your dog. You might know now that you need something in December, that you need something in August, that you need something coming up in July. Make the phone call today. 315-299-4013. Let them know that DT sent you over there. And for more information for the dog boarding, Canine Kampground can be found at KAMPground.com. So, my top dog of the week this week. There's so many places you can go. So many different things you could say. But my top dog of the week this week has got to be God. My top dog of the week daily. But God has helped me through a lot. And God has listened. And God has really helped prepare me for where I am today. And so I have to give a shout out to God as my top dog of the week, because God has put up with me and I've seen that evolution. I would also say that I'm proud of myself. I'm not going to call myself a top dog of the week, but I'm proud of what I've learned. I'm proud of where I've come from, and I'm proud of the people that have been there. I want to shout out my close friends that I consider my top dogs of the week as well. The people that always tell me the truth and don't sugarcoat anything. They have found a way, my family and my friends that have become family, they have found a way to talk to people, me included, where they show love and kindness and generosity while also giving you the tough conversation. You know, I never feel like they're criticizing me and attacking me and abusing me and making me feel bad. I feel like those that are closest to my heart and to my soul, they know how to speak to me and they know how to work out problems with me. We have really tough conversations, but I never feel disrespected. And to the people that can understand the art of that, you're my top dogs. You know, God above all, I'm proud of myself under that. And, you know, I'm really thankful and I'm grateful for the people that I have that have just found a way to really just speak to somebody in a way where you can challenge them and you can cause them to see something for what it is and you can kind of uncover everything, but you do it. I love my circle. I really do. I love it and I appreciate it. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the people in my life that help to make me a better man, help to make me a better person. You know, I'm grateful. You know, my top dogs, it's just been reiterated to me this week that, you know, my mom really, really gets me. And she's the only person in the world that can make me cry happy tears every day. She can always get me to do that. And it's because of how much I know that she loves me. And it's because of the fact that she's been consistent. We've had our moments. We've had tough times. But my mom, she gets me. She gets me, she understands me, she supports me, and you know, she challenges me. My mother challenges me a lot. And I appreciate those challenges. I appreciate the fact that my mother doesn't just go, yeah, whatever, you know. She always says make your own decision, but we've evolved in our relationship and in our bond, and she wants me to make my own decision. She's never going to tell me what to do. She just gives me advice, and she just helps me to see what I need to see. You know, she talks to me in a way where sometimes it's hard and sometimes it's difficult and sometimes we may not agree on everything, but my mom helps to show me the way, and she helps me to understand things. She helps me to see things for what's in front of me and what they are, and the challenges I may face, and ultimately she trusts my soul. And my mom knows me in a way where you wonder how can I be so sure about something, and then you talk to, you know, someone in your life, and in my case my mom, and she just knows exactly what I'm feeling, and she can just understand it and believe it. And when you have people in your life, when you have friends like that, when you have parents like that, when you have a significant other like that, that you don't have to beg them to understand you, where you could just go somewhere and say, hey, this might be crazy to you, but this is what I believe in. This is what matters to me. This is what I want to do. This is what I believe in. And you have that support. It is just beautiful in life. When you have something so beautiful inside your heart and in your soul, it's beautiful when other people could join you on that road. And those are my top dogs of the week, because this week has been a week of really amazing things and learning a lot. And I'm grateful that I have people that believe in my soul and believe in what I believe in and that are there. You know, we're all, when you chase love, you're crazy. When you chase your dreams, you're crazy. People are going to think it's crazy, right? When you think you're going to achieve something. And my buddy that's about to come up here, you know, he told me years ago, never going to find a wife. Never going to find somebody. I'm just going to be by myself for the rest of my life. I want to, but look at all this stuff I've had. I'm never going to find it. And I kept telling him, hey, man, you're a great person. You're an amazing individual. There's no way that somebody like you ends up alone. And he didn't. And I told him, you're going to be a great father someday. You're going to be a terrific father, without question. And he's a father to my niece and my nephew, my niches, Lorelei and LJ. And he wanted to coach. He wanted to be connected to baseball. And he's doing that. And he wanted to be a writer, and he wanted to be a broadcaster, and he wanted to be in the sports journalism world. And he kept fighting for that and doing things on his own. And he's doing that now. So we're all a little crazy for going after what we want. But the ones that are crazy enough to take that jump and take that leap, we're the ones that live. A lot of people spend most of their life dying, getting closer to the end. We live life in such a way where we want to feel genuinely alive in every second. And there's going to come times where feeling alive is going to hurt like hell. And it's going to be hard. You know, this guy that's on screen with me right now, not every day was easy. And he became friends with me at a time that was extremely difficult in my life. But that's how our friendship started. Our friendship started by him just being a good person, being a good friend, being himself.
Yes.
And he was one of the only people that got through to me at that time. So with that being said, I bring onto the show someone who is a living example that every piece of adversity and every tough conversation and every really difficult needle to thread ends up creating a really amazing life that you get really proud to live every day. So with that being stated, fellow broadcaster and writer here with me on the show today, and one of my brothers in life, Mr. Ross Turetsky. How are you, sir?
Doing well, buddy. Thanks for having me on. LJ's in the background trying to do an art project, so I'm trying to keep an eye on him so he doesn't make a mess of the house. So that he wants to play with paint, scissors. It's very dangerous. It's like he's throwing darts up in the air. I'm just very nervous. There's gonna be a catastrophe. So at any moment, I might just fly out of this chair to go chase him around this basement. But we'll do the best we can today. But thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And there's, I gave that intro and I talked about how, when you go after what you want in life, we're all considered a little bit crazy, those of us that chase after love and chase after dreams and whatnot. What can you say about the fact that you've gone after what you wanted and maybe it looked a little bit crazy to other people, but you've achieved it all?
You just can't give up, and at times it's difficult. At times you question yourself, like, is this going to happen? Is this the right choice? And then sometimes it's paralysis by analysis. If you overthink things, sometimes you just, even if you're a very smart person who likes to think and overthink and triple check and quadruple check like I do and you do sometimes, you gotta just be able to go with your gut, go with your heart, go with your instincts, and trust that they will lead you in the right direction. So you're not saying totally shut your brain off, but I'm saying that if you know something is good, you feel something is right, don't overthink it, don't try to find mistakes that are going to be down the road that could happen or problems down the road that could happen, and every little issue here or there that will ruin a potentially great situation. You have to seize that moment when you have it, when it's your moment in life. That's your only chance, possibly. So maybe you'll have other opportunities, but once you get that opportunity, you got to seize that moment and run through the brick wall and do the best you can, just like they do when they come out on a football field. They run through the banner. You got to just run through the banner sometimes and not overthink things, because sometimes I overthink things, even now and always, and definitely in the past, and I try to look for the negatives. Sometimes you got to look for the positives or what is, and go with what the information we have today. And you embrace the chaos and a lot of great joy and some craziness along the way. But in the end, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. You live, you follow your gut and you follow that instinct. And until that instinct changes, until that instinct is different, until it leads you a different way, you go after what you want. And that's how you achieve things in life. I mean, you can have a mediocre life. You can make enough money to get by, and you can do a job that you hate, but you get really good vacation time, and so you get to have 8 days of the year where you don't hate your life. And there's people that can live those lives. You can find that person and marry that person that's safe, and they're pretty okay, and you're kind of attracted to them, and you kind of like some things that they do. And if you could just be with them and change them a little bit, that'd be great too. I mean, people live that life all the time, but I'm in search of true love. I'm in search of dreams and aspirations that I've believed in since I was little, and I know what I want. And the thing is, if you go back to college and you think about some of the things that I'm working on now, I wanted them back then. There's a script that I'm working on, and I say I'm working on it, but I have to put my butt in the chair and actually start writing it because I think about it. But it's something that I started writing in college. It's something that I wanted to do in college based on my favorite character from when I was a kid. So
Spider-Man.
Yeah. And so, and I'm so passionate about it and I'm so driven for it that, I already see it. I'm like, it's going to happen. I can feel it in my throat. I could feel it in my chest. I could feel it in my lungs, and you just have to do it. You have to take that step. And I just think that God has challenged me to say, recently especially, I've given you what you've asked for. I've given you what you wanted. How can you do this? Can you show me all the things that I've taught you? And I just feel like you gotta jump on the ride, and you gotta give it a shot, and you gotta give it a chance. I don't know how to tell people how to live life any other way than, if you really believe in something, you have to go after it. And
Absolutely.
you have to give it a shot, and you will find what you need to find. You will be where you need to be. Anybody that went out gold mining didn't typically find gold the first time. And, you have to hit a lot of rocks. You have to crack away a lot of things. You have to go to a lot of different destinations before you find that gold. But when you find it, there's something that you've learned. You've learned a better technique. You've gotten better tools. You've gotten things that help cut down your time a little bit.
Imagine how great it's going to feel after all that hard work you put in. And when you talk about screenplay, the one thing I thought of is the two big underdog stories that are famous in screenplay world. Good Will Hunting with Matt Damon, Ben Affleck win the Oscar for Best Screenplay when they were in their 20s. They started working on that script when he was in college, Matt Damon, at Harvard for a playwriting class. Then he got his buddy Ben Affleck to start working with him on it. And for years, they worked on it. And I even read a crazy idea that originally, how there's he's a big, math genius, even though he's just a janitor at Harvard and everything. He was that it was gonna be like a thriller, almost like a board, and eventually he becomes Jason Bourne and all that in other movies, an action star, Matt Damon. But there was like a thriller aspect where the government was gonna come after him for his math technology and his math formulas, in order to make weapons and stuff for the military. And there was this whole crazy government spy thriller idea. And then what was it? Rob Reiner, who was the head of the studio, said, "It's a great script. Drop this thriller idea. You have two different stories here." And he just told them, go back to the drawing board, simplify it, that this is a great love story, also a great story of perseverance, and the great bond between Robin Williams, the therapist, and Matt Damon trying to go from a tough childhood and become a success without having a crazy thriller story on the side. It's cool, but he's like, this works better. And they went back to the drawing board. They kept working on it. And then when they went to the studio, and then they had to vouch for themselves because they were not famous actors. They had bit parts in movies, and said, "Oh, not only we want to sell you the script, we want to be the stars of the movie." And they're like, "Are you insane?" And they were like, "We want all these. We want Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg. We want all these, Brad Pitt. We want all the superstars. We don't want you. We just want your script because we know your script's good." And they pretty much put their foot down with very little money, very little clout or power in the industry, and said, "The only way to get in the script is if we're in the movie." And they took a chance on themselves, where they even pretty much almost had to audition and try out for their own script, their own story, saying that we will do some takes, we'll do some scenes, some days of filming. If you still don't think it works after that, you can fire us, take the script, give us some money, and we'll walk away. But they believed in themselves. They saw how it was going. And after a few days of filming, this was the right choice. And they got the rest is history. They're two of the biggest movie stars in the world. Same thing with Sylvester Stallone, my favorite movie, Rocky. As Rocky Balboa, he came up with the script, had nothing to his name, was pretty much, as he joked, a 30-year-old bum trying to make it. There's LJ with his new mohawk, and he loves his mohawk. He wants to be your Spider-Man, by the way. And Sylvester Stallone also came with the studio and said, "This is my script. You love it. You want to give me all this money? I have to be the star of the movie." Again, they said, "You're crazy." They wanted, at the time, it was Burt Reynolds, Ryan O'Neal, Robert Redford, anyone who was there's Rocky right there. We actually have a Rocky doll. LJ just found that, so that was perfect timing. Yeah. Every movie star of its day, they're like, "That's who we want to be, this guy, Rocky Balboa." So Sylvester Stallone said, "No, you want my script? I have, great. If not, I'll leave." It worked. And again, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky became the biggest icon movie of the world. The Rocky steps in Philadelphia, he feels like a real person, not just the character. So in times, you see, it doesn't always work out, but if you believe in yourself, you have the courage of your convictions, look when it seems like it's impossible. And at the time, with the Good Will Hunting script and with the Rocky script, it seemed impossible. That they wanted big movie stars, proven commodities in Hollywood. And who were these guys? They were nobodies. And they stuck to their guns, and they would not give up their story, their livelihood, and they didn't care in the end that they were going to get maybe tossed away and make almost no money. They said that we have nothing to lose, we have no money to our names, we have maybe a few bucks that we got in cash. Let's roll the dice. And sometimes, you can't always live your life like that. But sometimes, isn't that nice when you believe in what you're doing, and we're gonna go for it, and we're gonna believe that we're the best person for the job. And in the end, it was a great story. And now, what I'm really excited about as a big Rocky fan, we're working on a story about the making of Rocky. It's gonna be a movie, an underdog movie about the underdog movie, where they're gonna have to cast someone to play Sylvester Stallone. How this nobody at 30 years old, where it seems like his life was just floating away, how he was able to come up with this screenplay and then fight for himself to be in this movie, and no one expected anything out of it, and became one of the biggest movies ever. So that's a very exciting idea for a movie, that there's going to be an underdog movie about the greatest underdog movie ever made. So as you see, it can work. You have to believe in yourself. You have to work hard, and in the end, hard work pays off, and you just have to believe. That's the main idea here.
Yeah, going after. And I love that, and I appreciate those examples and that background. I mean, it's when you believe in something, you believe in it. And it's crazy, but I keep saying to myself, in July, my business is going to be 12 years old. And, I mean, I remember...
It's almost a teenager. It's going to start getting moody. It's going to slam the door in your face, not want to think they know better than you. So you got to watch out. Soon it's going to be able to drive a car. They might not need you anymore, buddy. You got to watch it.
But I mean, you look at it, and 12 years old, and I remember people saying you got to make it past a year. You got to make it past 5 years. Oh no, now it's 10 years. And I look at this. I look at this company, and I look at my idea at 26, and standing in the parking lot talking to Jay at Carvel, DeWitt, saying, "This is what I want to do. I want you to come with me." You look back on those moments, about those initial steps, and 27 cents in my pocket, $103 in my bank account, and being in that position and believing in it, not knowing where the money was going to come from, not knowing what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, but saying I have to do this. I have to do it. This drive in me, this belief in me that I had with MU Courtside, that I had on the radio at Marywood, that I had at ESPN in Scranton, that I had at ESPN in Syracuse, that I had at ESPN in Orlando. I have to take this. I have to do this, that I had on the Score 1260, that I had with Fox Sports. I have to do this. And I just did it, and you look back on it, and it's 12 years. And you think to yourself, how do you do those things? How do you look at our friendship? When you talk about a friendship, or you talk about a romantic relationship, or you talk about any of these things with the people that you love the most, and you think, how do I get there, right? Because in the beginning, you're like, how does this person become someone I could trust? How do they become my wife? How do they become my husband? How do they become my best friend? How do they become family? But in that initial moment, you and I started our friendship at the remembrance mass of a mutual friend that passed away, Sarah Beth George. May she continue to rest in peace. And that was in 2008. And I remember that they had sandwiches, and I remember having a turkey sandwich. I remember the roll. I remember putting mustard on it, sitting across from you and talking for so long that your brother was like, "Are we going to leave? Like, what are we doing here? You guys have been sitting here for hours. What, are you going to marry each other?" type of thing. And
that's his go-to line with anyone I talk to for more than 5 seconds. He just assumes, like, "Are you going to marry that person?" I'm like, "I'm just having a conversation."
And, but you think back on that, and that was 2008. And, here we are in 2024, and it's 16 years of friendship where, it had to start on one day. And you think, how did it start? And it's showing up, it's being there, it's little moments, it's being yourself. I was myself, you were yourself. And that's how we built our friendship. You didn't know how much I needed somebody there right in that moment. You didn't know that I had pushed other people away. You didn't know that going to see a movie with me, or just sitting with me on the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning. And you did it because it's who you are. You did it because it's what you're about. You could have said no. You could have said I don't want to. You could have said that's not me. But you were yourself, and that's why for 16 years we've been friends. That's why we'll always be friends, is because you were you and I was me, and it made sense and it worked. And we forget that, when we look at romantic stuff. We forget that when we look at job stuff, that first date that you got a yes to was because you're yourself. That first conversation where you started to build a friendship is because you were yourself. That first shot that you made on the basketball court was because you were yourself. That first hit was because you were yourself. You can't think about, I got to make this shot. You can't think about, I got to have this date. I got to get here. I got to have this. I got to do it. You have to be yourself. I mean, I remember I started my career professionally by literally telling my first boss out of college, I'm sick and tired of hearing no. Why don't you be the first person to say yes and give me the opportunity? And if I'm wrong, you can kick me out. What's up? But it's like, if I'm wrong, you can get rid of me. If I'm wrong, you can fire me. But if you're right in hiring me, then you're going to be the one person that was right, and you can look at the 20 places that said no to me, and you can look like a genius. I just told them, somebody's got to give me experience if you all want me to have it, and that started my career. That put me on the radio at ESPN, and that started everything. Was my saying to my boss, like, this is who I am. I'm not going to change from who I am. I believe in God. I have morals and values, and I deserve an opportunity. So give me one. So
you got to fight for yourself and take that chance. It's scary because you don't know what the outcome is. They could have said get lost, but sometimes you have to roll the dice and, like, what's the worst that can happen? Just believe in yourself. Go for what you want. Put your foot in the door, because if not, very few times, unless you have amazing connections in life, or like a family member who owns the business or is a superstar, you're going to get that chance. Unless you're Bronny James, who is going to go to the NBA draft. He'll play for some NBA team, but I don't think he's really going to do well in the NBA. He's just going to be there because of his dad. Unless you have that sort of connection, you have to kind of make your own luck. You have to push through those doors, knock those doors down, because if not, who will? In the end, you're just going to live with a bunch of regrets. You're going to be an old man and say, what if I would have said something when I was 25 years old, and I would open my mouth to that person, that boss, that lady I met at a bar or at a party? If I could have just said something then. And do you want to live your life full of regret, or do you want to live your life that I took the chances? Sometimes it failed, but no matter what, I could look myself in the mirror and hold my head up high. And in the end, that's how you have a successful life. Because even if you're wrong numerous times, you keep fighting. As we said last time I was on the show, that Rocky Balboa quote, you get up, you get hit, knocked in the teeth, you get up and keep fighting, and that's how winners, live. You don't give up, and it's about how you overcome. LJ's now Chase from Paw Patrol. He's doing some pictures. He's our sidekick for the day. But yeah, even if you fail a bunch of times, you got to think of it like baseball. You get 3 hits out of 10 at bats. That's a 300 hitter. You're a Hall of Famer if you do that for your whole career. That still means you failed 70% of the time, and you're still an all-time great.
Yeah.
So even if and I know a lot of professions you can't do that. If you're a doctor and you do that, you're probably gonna get sued and go to jail. But in life, even if you just take lots of chances and you fail a bunch of times, all it takes is one time where you were successful. So 10% out of those 10 tries you went, where the girl says yes, the guy says yes to you, the boss says yes to you, the whatever opportunity, the business that you were talking with, they give you that chance. All it takes is one time. All you need is one mic. All you need is one yes. And you get that one yes, and you seize that moment. That's the foot in the door you get, and then you kick through that door and show them your worth. And you can have years of success. But if you didn't take that initial chance, again, you're going to be an old man, and you're going to live with a life filled with regret, and that's not a way to live.
No, that coming from Ross Turetsky this morning, and sharing some much needed conversation I think we all need to hear around the world. That Rocky quote that we talk about that I love so very much. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. And I don't care how tough you are. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. And that quote sits with me all the time.
And just think when they tease Sylvester Stallone because he talks in a weird way and funny way. He got like some sort of partial paralysis on the one side of his face when he was a little kid. He can't do anything about that. He created that amazing speech, those lines, that dialogue. He wrote every line of those Rocky movies. He directed most of those Rocky movies, and even the ones he didn't direct, he wrote every single line of those movies. He choreographed all the fight scenes. Like, it's amazing. Like, everyone wants to tease him, oh, he just does dumb action movies. Yeah, he did some dumb action movies that were not good. But he created such amazing dialogue, inspirational, iconic lines that will be remembered forever. So I just got to tip my cap that everyone wants to tease Stallone. And I will defend him to the ages because he came up with such inspirational quotes. And that's why people, when I go to Philadelphia, young, old, are running up those Rocky steps and then climbing up those Rocky statue at the bottom of the art museum there. And they can't get enough. I see wedding parties the day they get married, after the ceremony or before. They're in their wedding gown and tuxedos, and they're climbing up this Rocky statue and running up the steps with their arms raised up in triumph. And they have people selling memorabilia, merchandise. And it's because everyone is fighting for that American dream. Everyone's fighting to be the best version of themselves. And that's what Rocky symbolizes. So it's such a legendary, inspirational idea, Rocky. And it will never go old. It will never die. Years from now, centuries from now, that Rocky mindset will always be there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I remember, to me, Sylvester Stallone is Rocky. And when he was at the International Boxing Hall of Fame and he got inducted the same year as Mike Tyson, I was there. And in my head, like, I've been back, but I'm like, I don't know if there's ever going to be a better moment than being there with Rocky Balboa and Mike Tyson. And when Sylvester was there, he did the whole speech, and then he walked away. And I'm looking at him, and I'm going, he's the boxer. Like, he is the boxer. And he walks away, and he goes, and he comes back to the mic, and he goes, I can't believe I didn't say it. He goes, yo, Adrian, we did it, and he put his hand, he put his arm up, and I just remember being like, this dude is gonna, like that moment, like that. You think about it, like Rocky is the reason why so many people don't give up in life. Like, when people want to give up, they watch that movie, they read those quotes, they put their quotes on the wall, they listen to it. Like, there are so many people that Sylvester Stallone touched by creating a fictional character in a fictional boxing world. Like, he made a fake character that in real life helps people get through really dark and tough times. And so
it's probably saved a lot of lives that we don't even know about. People who are about ready to call it quits. And that that idea, that icon that they look up to has kept them going, kept them pushing forward.
Yeah, so, to the people out there, when you think that chasing your dreams isn't enough or going after something isn't enough, I'm going to tell you this. You when you're going after what you want in life, when you're doing, what's up, LJ? But when you're going after what you want in life, you got to think about the fact that, like, if you have kids, or if you don't have kids, you got nieces, nephew, whatever. But if you're going to go after something in life, you got to think about it in your head, like, do I want to set this example? Do I want to set the example that I stood here? Or do I want to set the example that I went after what I wanted? Can I tell my godson that I did this? Can I tell my niece and my nephew? Can I tell my children, I believed in love so much with this person that I did everything I could to show that. I put everything out there. I can tell my children, if you believe in your dreams and what you want in life doesn't exist, you can create it. And they go, Dad, how do we create something out of thin air that doesn't exist? And I get to turn around and say to them, your father's owned a business for however many years. I could tell them like, how can I tell you that it's done? Because I did it. And so, you got to remember that when you're living your life, you're not only living your life for you, you're living your life as an example, positive or negative, for somebody else out there to see what it can be. Can you face adversity? Can you face tough times? Can you overcome things? How are you when things are easy? How are you when things are hard? How are you when things don't go your way? How are you when you have to be patient? Because there's not a single person in this life that hasn't struggled to get where they wanted to be. There's nobody in life that you consider successful that didn't go through a lot to get to that success. 100% of the screen that's on here for you right now has been through a lot of hell and kept believing in the heaven of it all. And whatever we've seen and whatever we've been through is different from somebody else's. But Ross and I have had a lot of moments where we have thought about things and thought, it's impossible. This is impossible. And yet we're sitting on the screen today with a whole lot of things that are very much real and within our touch, within our grasp, that either one of us would have told you it's never going to happen. And now it's on the cusp of happening. It's happening. It happened already. And that's a beautiful thing. So we are going to get into baseball and football, but before all that stuff, I want to thank you, buddy, for fighting the way that you fight and going after what you want. And I want to thank you for your belief in me, because you believed in me in times where I've had a little flicker of hope, and you've had a giant lantern of hope in me. And I want to thank you for that.
You're very welcome. I just believe in you. I know you've done great things. You will continue to do great things, and things you don't even envision now. So just keep pushing forward and don't ever give up. Like Jim Valvano said at the ESPYs, don't give up, don't ever give up. And that was a man who was dying of cancer, and on one of his last public appearances, he gave, if you want to see a rousing speech, right up there with Rocky, but this was a real-life person, national champion coach of NC State from 83, and he's dying of cancer in 93 at the ESPYs, best buddies with Dick Vitale, and he gave one of the greatest speeches ever about you should laugh every day, cry every day, and if you could do all those things, love every day, then it's a successful day. And you do that, stack those days after day after day, you have a successful life. And this was a man in one of his last breaths, and that was an inspirational speech. So you just think of those words and don't ever give up, buddy.
Yeah, you too. And I wrote that down. I remember watching his speech, and I wrote down on a Post-it note, and I never forgot it. He said, if you think, laugh, and cry every day, that's one hell of a day. And you and I'll have to talk off the air, but I have thought, I've laughed, and I have cried pretty much every day for the past week in a good way. And I'm living that life that Jim Valvano said, has meaning, and I believe him. So I appreciate it and I respect it, and I'm happy that y'all are here to hear this message today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. I got to get into base. It's hard because there's all this love and all this like life and passion and good that we always talk about, and it's all here and it intertwines itself, and I appreciate it more than I can tell you, buddy. We're looking at the baseball world to shift into baseball, and there's a lot of people that we're talking about love. There's a lot of people that love the Mets, and there's a lot of people that ask themselves why every day, and I mean,
it's a recipe for disaster. It's like us Jets fans. You're just gonna want to drive off a bridge if you root for the Mets for the long term. It's a very sad kind of experience as a sports fan.
They started off okay, like they normally do.
Yeah.
And now they're almost 20 games behind first place in the NL East.
Yeah. They have no chance. They get to go to London next week to play the Phillies, so that's kind of cool next Saturday. But I'm like, other than that,
yeah.
And then you have to hope they don't trade Pete Alonso, who's a free agent at the end of the year. He's a superstar first baseman, hits all these home runs. Will they trade him, get prospects? Can they re-sign him at the end of the year? And if they lose him, then they're like, what do you have for the Mets? Like, you have the richest owner of sports, Steve Cohen. Yeah. He promised they were going to win a World Series within, I think, the first 5 years of him owning the team. They're now 3-4 years in. And they made the playoffs a couple years ago. They signed a lot of older veterans, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer. They had Jacob deGrom. And now all those guys are gone. There's only a few good players on the team, like Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso. and who knows if they're going to tear that team down. And then even their star closer who missed all last year when he was celebrating after a World Baseball Classic win, he missed all last year. Edwin Diaz with the trumpets, all that excitement from 2 years ago, and now he's hurt. He was struggling before that, and who knows if he'll ever get back to the star level he was at a couple years ago. So it's very bleak in Mets land, and I sent you the thing. I'm sure you saw the antics of what happened with Jorge Lopez, but there is supposed to be more to the story. That I think he has a son waiting for a kidney transplant, so it's pretty sad. So he might have been in a dark place at the time, but he pretty much is like, I'm on the worst, crappiest team ever, and I'm the worst teammate on this crappiest team ever. Threw his glove in the stands after got ejected from the game and got cut immediately after the post-game interview was over. So who knows what will be the next story with Jorge Lopez or what's going to be next for the Mets. But they did win last night. I know it's sad because they beat your Diamondbacks. They came back to beat them 3-2. But still, for the Mets, it's bleak days in Flushing, Queens.
Yeah, and looking at the Mets, it continues. But good news to people here in Syracuse: Christian Scott and Brett Beatty are coming to AAA, coming to the Syracuse Mets. Now, the Mets are sending right-handed starter Christian Scott and third baseman Brett Beatty to AAA from what is out there right now, allegedly.
Are they going to call up Ronald Acuna Jr., who just sadly, the star MVP who had 40 homers, 70 stolen bases, was MVP last year. He has a brother on the Syracuse Mets who's supposed to be just as good, if not better, than Ronald Acuna Jr. Are they going to finally call him up? Because I'm like, at this point, what do the Mets have to lose? He's pretty much your top prospect. I'd love to see the Mets call up Ronald Acuna's brother.
Yeah, I mean, and looking at this, at Christian Scott first here, in 5 starts, 24-year-old has a 3.90 ERA, struck out 25 while walking 6 in 27 and 2/3 innings.
He's been pretty good. He's been solid. So I'd keep him out there in the rotation at this point. What do you have to lose with the Mets?
Yeah, and so he's going to be coming over. Brett Beatty, who's also 24, the third baseman, was sent down for the second consecutive season after struggling to stand out, giving his full reps here. The Mets recently called up slugging prospect Mark Vientos, who's taken a share of Beatty's at-bats at third base and made the most of them. He is putting himself in good shape here. He has 3 homers in 14 games. On the season, we're looking at Beatty. Beatty, he was pinch hit for by Pete Alonso in Thursday's 3-2 win over the Diamondbacks. And after going 0 for 1 with a walk and a ground out into a double play. So we're looking at, what's going to be coming on here. But to the fans, we can see where we're heading here. I do want to look back at what went on with Jorge Lopez here and give a little update. He said he was misquoted by some media that reported he said the Mets were looking like the worst team probably in the whole effing MLB, end quote. Confirmed that he had said he was looking like the worst teammate probably in the whole effing MLB, is what he said, end quote. Quote, I apologize to my teammates, coaches, and fans in the front office. I felt I let them down Wednesday, both on and off the field, end quote. Lopez was designated for assignment on Thursday, giving them 7 days to trade or release him. Lopez signed a 1-year, $2 million deal with the Mets in December. He's tied for the second most appearances in Major League Baseball with 28 and has a 3.76 ERA in 26 1/3 innings pitched. So this is where the Mets are right now. This is what's going on. And, we'll be looking at what's going to happen here. Kodai Senga has been out with an arm injury, and Max Scherzer.
And he's a stud pitcher, so that's just the killer because he, I think, was third in the Cy Young voting last year for best pitcher in the National League, and you hope he can get back at some point, kind of like Garrett Cole with the Yankees, but at this point, he seems to have setbacks, and there's no timetable when he will return, so that's another disappointment.
Yeah, and they signed Max Scherzer, and that was short-lived. They signed Justin Verlander, and that was short-lived. Francisco Alvarez, their catcher, he, had on April 21st came down with a thumb injury. So
he is coming back, though. I know you're not far from Binghamton. He was playing Double-A for Binghamton the other night, so he is getting close to coming back, and he's a stud power-hitting catcher.
Yeah, and since they started 19-20, the Mets have gone 4-13. They've been outscored 99 runs to 62, and the Mets have allowed the 23rd most runs in Major League Baseball of the 30 franchises. They've allowed the 23rd most, and they've scored the 11th fewest amount of runs. So we'll see what happens here. But to have right-handed pitcher Christian Scott coming to AAA, and I got a chance to get Brett Beatty's signature. So
yeah. He's supposedly best buds with Garrett Wilson, the star receiver of the Jets. They grew up together, went to college. I think they went to college together, but they're supposed to be best buddies. Garrett Wilson of the Jets and Brett Beatty. So hopefully in the end they make it both as stars in New York. Garrett Wilson already has. Brett Beatty has shown some promise. He's a very good defensive third baseman, just doesn't hit enough. And with Mark Vientos getting called up and taking a lot of his reps, and Pete Alonso's your first baseman, JD Martinez is your DH, there's not a lot of opportunities unless he starts to hit. And he hits well in AAA, but then you wonder, does he need a new change of scenery? Does he have to go somewhere without the pressure of playing in New York City and maybe get traded away down the road? Or there are some guys, unfortunately, they call them 4A players. You're a AAA with the Syracuse Mets who live nearby. I'm with the Rail Riders, the Yankees AAA team, and they just played each other last weekend. We watched them. We went on Friday night with fireworks. The kids had fun in the bouncy house. They won 7-3. But Syracuse won a bunch of games in that series. But they played each other the entire week. The Rail Riders won last Friday against Syracuse. But he could just be really good at AAA. But in the big leagues, that's why they call him 4A players. The next level, they joke it's 4A. It's just not up to snuff, especially hitting the ball, hitting the curveball, catching up to 100-mile-per-hour fastballs that everyone is throwing now, which used to be rare. Now everyone seems to be throwing 100 miles per hour. He might just not be able to cut it, or if he is, he might have to mature into his development stage of his career, and maybe has to go elsewhere. We'll see, but at least you get to see an exciting young ball player in Syracuse, so that's not a bad trade-off for you guys.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the schedule right now, and the Mets are home. I'm taking a look. The Syracuse Mets, for everybody to know here, I'm just checking some games here. The Mets are home tonight, May 31st against Buffalo. So they're home tonight, and they're also home on Saturday, also against Buffalo. Fireworks both nights, and they're home on Sunday against Buffalo. So there is a chance for some Christian Scott and Brett Beatty love. I'm just happy that Beatty is back, because a couple of years ago, Beatty was here, and I got a message from one of my friends, Debbie sent me a message, Debbie Edmondson, and she said to me, she was like, "Hey, if you see Beatty, say hello from us. He's a family friend." And like 5 seconds after she said he's a family friend, he ended up leaving, getting called up, and in his first at bat, he hit a home run for the Syracuse Mets. So she literally told me, like, "Oh, he's a family friend, say hello." I was sitting there watching him, and then he was gone to the New York Mets. And I sold my Brett Beatty numbered auto turquoise wave refractor rookie card. And ever since I sold it, which I'm happy, I sold, I got some money, but now I want a new one, and I want Beatty's autograph. So I might have to find my way over to Brett Beatty over these next couple days if we get to see him here going up against Buffalo. But to the Syracuse fans, you got all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with the Syracuse Mets, and the potential of seeing Christian Scott and Brett Beatty. So of all the bad news people think the Mets are bringing, the Syracuse Mets got some good news.
Yeah, and they have, like I said, they have top prospects. They have the guys you mentioned, and like I said, well, look out. I think his name's Luis Acuna, Ronald Acuna.
Call him Baby Acuna.
Brother. Yeah, Baby Acuna. And I'm telling you, maybe he won't live up to the hype, but his brother is a stud, the only member ever of the 40-homer, 70 stolen base club. Unfortunately, he tore his left ACL last week when he played the Pirates. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery for next season. Unfortunately, he's out for the rest of the year. But if his brother can even be little brother can be a fraction of what his big brother is in the big leagues, the Mets have a superstar in their hands, and they got him in some of those trades, and with the older players they traded away and got some top prospects. So that's another guy I'm looking forward to see. I saw him play this past weekend against the Rail Riders, and I just feeling he's going to be a stud. And whether he is or isn't, they keep claiming, all the scouts and all the alleged experts, that he's a better hitter than his brother. So if he can be around that level or even better than Ronald Acuna Jr., the sky's the limit. And Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos and all these guys, there are some good prospects in the Mets organization. So I know it looks bleak. And if they lose Pete Alonso, there'll be a lot of people who are going to be driving off bridges. But the Mets have some potential. It's just in a very dark place right now. And they do have a very wealthy owner. That's very sweet. Pete Alonso right there. That guy just smashes home runs. That guy's a stud. They do have an owner who is willing to pay big bucks in Steve Cohen. So between your top prospects and if he's willing to go out and get big-time free agents, they want more of it, and they want a chance to win a World Series. Last time they won the World Series was when I was born in 1986. That's almost 38 years ago. They made it in 2015, lost to the Royals, lost to the Yankees in the Subway Series in 2000. And in between, there's been a few playoff appearances, but mostly very bad years with a lot of hope in the beginning, and it falls apart quickly. And at the trade deadline, they're sellers. They dump everyone. So the Mets have had very minimal success, and they have to see the Yankees next door, who, yes, they haven't won World Series in 15 years since 2009, but the Yankees have won a ton in their career, in their history. They right now are one of the best teams in baseball. They're 20 games over 500. They got Juan Soto, who's a superstar. He's a free agent at the end of the year. They got Aaron Judge, who leads the league in home runs. So the Yankees, it's tough as a Mets fan because the Mets, they've had some success over the years, but few and far between. And in between those years of championships, it's been a lot of bleak, crappy years. And then next door is your rival, the Yankees, and the Yankees have been winning year after year and having superstar Hall of Fame players like Derek Jeter, Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, all those historic players, and the Mets don't have a whole lot of that. There is one nice thing also I want to mention for Met fans. Tomorrow, Saturday, June 1st, Darryl Strawberry will have his number retired for the buddy. He was part of that 86 Mets team. Doc Gooden, one of my favorite pitchers. Darryl Strawberry, one of my favorite power-hitting outfielders. And Gooden got honored in April, and now Darryl Strawberry, him and Gooden have redeemed themselves. They had drug problems. They were on their last legs at one point, and then Darryl Strawberry actually just had a heart attack a few weeks back. He's recovered. He's found God, very into religion now, him and his wife. And Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden have totally redeemed themselves after they were seeing some of their darkest days. And it's very inspirational that they've now been able to overcome all that. And tomorrow at Citi Field, the Mets tomorrow afternoon will celebrate Darryl Strawberry and retire his number forever as one of the great Mets players. So that's exciting stuff if you're a Mets fan. So you got Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry both being honored this year. And now hopefully the Mets will have future stars in the making for the Syracuse Mets who one day get called up and will get their numbers retired one day.
Dad.
What, buddy?
Are you home, my friend?
Very soon, buddy.
Okay, so
he wants me to put his Captain America costume on. He's a bunch of superhero costumes that he wants me.
I love it. LJ, what about Spider-Man?
He's got that's one. And then I have a Batman one here.
Yeah.
There's a Hulk one on the floor.
What
There's
about
Iron Man.
Spider-Man, my dude? That's the
We
best.
do, but I'm gonna wear the Captain America.
He wants to do Captain America.
He's gonna wear Captain America.
Captain America, man. We got a shield. I got him for Christmas.
I love it.
Can you put
I love it. Well, I gotta ask
We
you
will in
this.
just a
I
moment.
gotta ask you this before I let you go. The New York Yankees, best record at the time we're talking here. Best record in the American League of all of the teams in the American League, the 15 teams in the American League.
Yeah.
So they lead the American League East. They lead the entire American League with a record
They're
of
39 and 19,
yeah,
so they're 20 games over 500.
39 and 19, and second only to the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 39 and 18. Philadelphia,
Yeah.
the best record in baseball of 30 franchises, and right behind them, the New York Yankees, best record in the American League. What are your thoughts on the Yankees? Can they do this? Can they sustain this? We are looking at them almost 60 games in. What do you think about the Yankees? Are they showing something that can be consistent? What are your thoughts?
Hold on, buddy. We're almost done. I think the Yankees are a different team just because the offense is a juggernaut this year. As long as you cross your fingers because he gets hurt a lot. Judge is healthy this year. He's leading the league in homers. Juan Soto is the big difference maker. You got another. Hold on, buddy. LJ, go over there for a moment. You have a superstar in Juan Soto who is playing for a gigantic contract going to free agency with mega agent Scott Boras. He, instead of welting under the pressure, some guys can't handle it when they're in a contract year. He's playing amazing. God knows if Shohei Ohtani got 10 years, $700 million, $70 million a year, and I know some of that's deferred that he'll get when he's an old man, and it's all guaranteed though. How much is Juan Soto going to make? Because Soto is going to make an insane amount of money. and he's even way younger than Judge and Ohtani were when they got their contracts. Juan Soto right now is 25 years old. 25, and he's one of the best hitters and baseball players in the history of the game. He's already 6-7 years into his career, won a World Series with the Washington Nationals, played for the Padres, and he's the big difference maker. You have Juan Soto batting, you have Anthony Volpe, the star shortstop, young shortstop batting leadoff. Second is Soto, Judge batting third. Then you got Verdugo, Alex Verdugo from the Red Sox, who's a heck of an outfielder, solid hitter. He gets doubles machine, definitely starts the fire for that Yankees team. So he's another great addition. And then Giancarlo Stanton's hitting. Actually, one of the guys who's not really hitting is Anthony Rizzo, the first baseman, but he's you would think at some point he's going to come around. Yeah. So there's not really a weak spot in the Yankees lineup. So the Yankees, unlike last year when they couldn't consistently hit and Judge got hurt for 2 months, breaking his toe at Dodger Stadium, the Yankees offense is a juggernaut. The pitching staff's been amazing. They got Luis Hill, a young pitcher who came off Tommy John surgery. He's pitching amazing. They had Clark Schmidt, unfortunately, just went on the injured list. He's been great. Marcus Stroman, Carlos Rodon, bounce back second year with the Yankees. And then remember, after all this, and they got Nasty Nestor Cortez. After all this, Garrett Cole won the Cy Young Award, best pitcher in baseball last year, has not pitched this year. He's about to make a rehab start next week. He's faced live batters already. And by the end of this upcoming month of June, he will probably be up for the Yankees, and you will get, talk about trade deadline, who you're going to get. You're going to get probably the best pitcher in baseball. And I know you'll see how he has to come back from his injury with his elbow. You hope he stays healthy. Hold on, buddy. Garrett Cole is going to be rejoining the Yankees starting rotation. So the Yankees already have a great rotation. They're going to get the best pitcher in baseball. On top of that, they have Clay Holmes, one of the best closers in baseball, and have a dynamic offense with Juan Soto just destroying the ball and Aaron Judge. It's like the modern-day Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth combo for Murderers Row offense, or the M&M boys, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris. So Juan Soto and Aaron Judge with a bunch of other star hitters. They hit, they pitch well, and they still have the money. If they want to, they can get someone before the trade deadline to boost that lineup. So the Yankees, I definitely think have a great chance. I think they're going to win the division. I think they'll be a threat in the playoffs. And as of now, who knows what it's going to be. I would still believe it's going to be Yankees-Phillies in the World Series. And either one has a chance to win it all. The Phillies have been knocking on the door. Made the World Series 2 years ago, lost the Astros. Almost got to the World Series again last year. Your Diamondbacks came back and pulled off the upset. Won game 6 and 7 and knocked off the Phillies on the road in Philly. Now the Phillies, I still believe they have a great chance to get back to the World Series and finally get that first title since 2008. And now the Yankees haven't won it since 2009 when they beat the Phillies. And if I had to go right now, I'd say it's going to be a rematch of that World Series from 15 years ago. Yankees, Phillies, and it's going to be a hell of a series if it gets there. With Bryce Harper on the Phillies and all the star offensive players in the Phillies pitching and hitting. Yankees have the same thing. They're two stacked lineups right now. I'd love to see that matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. A lot of great things coming up and awesome analysis. I know you got Captain America waiting for you. So anything you want to say about the
My favorite
football?
is Batman. Oh, Batman.
I know. I still say to this day that Christian Bale was scarier as Batman than Heath Ledger was as the Joker. I used to see Christian Bale come on as Batman, and I was waiting. I was like, just put the Joker back on. So
What, Dad?
What, Dad? Why don't you talk directly to Dan? You want to talk to me? Talk directly to Uncle Dan.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, look at my mohawk. I look amazing. I'm a party boy.
Dad, can you put this on?
Yeah, in a moment. He has speaking of baseball now, he has a T-ball game tomorrow. Check it out. It's the T-ball Pirates. He made his debut last week because we got rained out the week before. And we're going to face, I love my Yankees. We're actually going to have to face the Yankees and try to take them down. Pirates, Yankees, 9:30 in the morning T-ball action in the back mountain in northeastern Pennsylvania. Check it out, guys. LJ hit a home run last week. He's ready to go. And you would love, he was Hulk smashing when he ran around the bases. He pounded on his chest like King Kong and kept saying, Hulk smash. And he did that the whole time he ran around the base.
Well, would you rather have a bat flip or a Hulk smash? That's the question.
A Hulk smash. Can you imagine if Aaron Judge did that when he hit a home run? I'd love to see that.
I love it. So with that being said, do you have any notes on the college football schedule before you go? Because I know you gotta put on a costume for LJ.
We're going to talk about college football now, buddy. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited about your Syracuse. They got some of the times and dates when it's going to happen. I think they have a chance to be a great team this year. And Fran Brown is doing all the right things. I'm also a big Penn State fan for college football, so I sort of they have some of their dates of times when they're going to play. That Big Ten conference is going to be very interesting with all the California schools added, with USC, UCLA. You're not always going to take on Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan's the defending national champions, but with no Jim Harbaugh or J.J. McCarthy this year. Ohio State's always a juggernaut. And then you got, like I said, USC, UCLA, these powerhouses from the West Coast now coming to the Big Ten. So it's going to be a wild matchups throughout the year. So I'm very excited to see that. I saw the backyard brawls going to be at the Steelers Stadium, Acrisure Stadium, with Pitt Panthers, and I'm always, and for West Virginia. So I'm always excited about that. Penn State's actually going to go to West Virginia to open the season on August 31st. Just a ton of I saw the schedules coming out. I'm pumped. Notre Dame has a bunch of exciting games, a bunch of prime time games. And they're going to also get to play at Yankee Stadium against the Naval Academy. So that's going to be exciting. I think October 26th at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. I know your Syracuse Orange have gone to play at Yankee Stadium a bunch of times over the last few years, even last season. So that's always a historic day. And Notre Dame, they travel everywhere. It's like, they'll have a large contingent because they have Notre Dame fans around the world. So I'm sure it'll be pretty much a home game for Notre Dame. So very excited to see the season. But probably the most exciting thing, I'm just excited to see this new look Big Ten with all the crazy new teams and how everything has changed. I'm excited to see what primetime Deion Sanders can do with Colorado. Yeah. Can he actually win there and not just be a bunch of hype and very little else? And then I'm sure you've talked about it since it's been announced. Some of these athletes, never mind the deals they can get for their likeness, and they're gonna have the new college football game coming out in July, that they are supposed to be allowed to get paid. And how crazy is that going to be? And then what do you do for the smaller, low revenue sports? Do they get paid, or is it just going to be the football and basketball? And is that fair? So it's going to be the wild, wild west. And I know Nick Saban has warned about this, and that was probably one of the reasons why he decided to leave and retire from Alabama, because it's different. And I think Jim Harbaugh left when he could because I won a national title. There was a lot. He got suspended a lot last year on the road to the championship. Does he want to run the risk of dealing with all the craziness and all the sanctions and everything you have to do to recruit players and now pay players? And it truly is. It's a wild, wild west situation. And I don't know. I'm excited for college football, but I also don't know, where is this end? Is this going to pretty much become pro sports before you know it, and collegiate sports are going to go out the window? So it's a nervous excitement and optimism. It's going to be exciting. And you have the 12-team college football playoff this year. So you're not going to have to deal with a 4-team situation and a Florida State undefeated powerhouse from the ACC get screwed over and not get to be in the playoffs. So I'm excited for the 12-team playoff this year as well.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. A lot of things to talk about. Really interesting. The first time that Miami will come to the Dome in 22 years will be the last game of the regular season for Syracuse. Ironically, and really cool, the last time that Miami came to the Dome to face Syracuse was November 30th, 2002, and their game this year, November 30th as well. So 22 years to the day, Miami will return to the Dome, and I believe I remember that 2002 one. So it's been a long time, and now they'll have the opportunity to do it again, and this time inside of the ACC. So with that being said, for Ross and for my nephew, LJ, I bid you both adieu.
Do you want to say hi? You want to say bye?
Bye.
See you, buddy.
Put on my costumes.
Yeah, man. Love that mohawk you got going on. Rocking it like a true soccer player. So
he's very proud of it. Yeah. He saw a kid in his school wear it, and he's like, I need to get one of these. So we had our haircuts, family haircuts. Everyone got a haircut on Wednesday, and that's what he got. He sat there and was just goofy smile, grinned from ear to ear, that big goofy grin. He's very proud of his mohawk. When he rubs his hair too much, like on the couch, and his mousse and gel come out of it, and then his hair looks regular, he gets very sad. But this gives him all the confidence in the world, and this is what he'll be supported when he takes the baseball field tomorrow morning. So, intimidation factor, we're going to win by 100 runs tomorrow.
So, that being said, I appreciate it. Happy to have you on, and to the T-Ball Tyrants and to my nephew, Mr. LJ. Go out there, have a good time. Hit another home run, and make sure you Hulk smash, buddy. But
Okay.
You said Hulk smash.
I'll talk with you soon, buddy. And I love you as always. And I
He's
thank you
punching
for
me as we speak. He's Rocky Balboa right now.
But I thank you for everything. I look forward to talking with you soon.
Have a good weekend, buddy. Happy June, and we'll talk soon, buddy. Thanks for everything on Jamie.
All right, see you later.
Why did
Love you.
you
That coming from Ross Turetsky, my good buddy and fellow broadcaster and writer, and of course my nephew and Boy Meets World reference, my niche, that being LJ. And shout out to my niece Lorelai, and to the part guide, and wrap things up here, getting ready for Mike Aresco in just a little bit here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the tastes of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop, finding everything that you need from singles to graded cards, packs, and boxes. You will find hockey, basketball, baseball, soccer, football, AEW, All Sport, UFC, as well as Disney Lorcana and Pokemon cards while supplies last at GG Cards and Breaks. You never know what they're going to have, and it can be gone in seconds. It can be gone in minutes. It can be gone in an hour. You got to get over to GG Cards and Breaks. They have so many great things, so many wonderful people in the community supporting GG Cards and Breaks from all different ages. When they have their monthly trade night, you'll see ages there from 5 or 6 years old all the way to, in their 60s. And 60s and 70s. I can't thank GG Cards and Breaks enough for connecting us to the sports teams that we love and to the movies and the characters that we love, and doing it in such a welcoming way, such an open way, and just an awesome atmosphere. There's this kindness, there's this goodness, there's this love for collecting cards that goes such a long way, and it means so very much to me. So GG Cards and Breaks, I cannot thank them enough for their positivity. I can't thank them enough for all the products that they get in and always trying to go the extra mile. The store is never the same. There's always something new, and you go in sometimes daily, weekly. There's always changes to GG Cards and Breaks, and challenging themselves to bring you great products every day, every week, all throughout the year. They're open 7 days a week, which is also rare for a sports card and trading card shop. They're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Go and visit them and let them know that DT sent you by going over to 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios, I know I said we were going to have the opportunity to speak with Mike Aresco here at 11:30. He's running a little bit behind, so we're actually going to bring him on a separate broadcast that will air live. And so that broadcast is going to come up at noon Eastern Time in just a few minutes here worldwide. And so we'll end this broadcast, but first want to thank you for being with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and beyond that. We also want to thank you for finding us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Broadcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And, of course, visit our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York that you heard about all throughout the broadcast. Heritage Hill Brewhouse and Heritage Hill North are exclusive studio partners, as well as Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Avicoli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Pizza Man, Great Lakes Honda City, Mother's Cupboard, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time here during Dolphin Time, featuring our monthly specials AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, and the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. All of this content can be found by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll also find our Lemoyne playlist on our YouTube channel there as well, so you can save that for your watching and listening pleasure. And of course, you can also find the Dolphins in two places on wakeupcalldt.com on the homepage, as well as underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. And as always, fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. They bring you on this here on Wake Up Call only. You will find the Bobcat Buzz. The Bobcat Buzz coming to you with student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year, telling their stories, featuring men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, and esports. Find all of our content with the Bobcats by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll find the BSC Syracuse playlist on our YouTube channel. You'll also find the Bobcats in two places on wakeupcalldt.com, on the homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
Apparently, the annoying moment of the week wants to play again.
I'm really honest. I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel, DeWitt, 4322.
Apparently, I can't get enough of the fact that I talked about Speedos today. But we're going to be moving the annoying moment of the week back to its proper spot here. And that, you never know what's going to happen. It's always fun to bring whatever's going to happen here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and just find its way to insert itself onto the broadcast here where sports truly meets that thing called life. So on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, you heard the annoying moment of the week, and now we're going to jump into Binghamton. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You could find the Bearcats Tuesdays during Bearcat Time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, featuring our monthly specials, Moments with Marshall, which has Binghamton University Athletics Director Gene Marshall joining me for a behind-the-scenes look at the Bearcats, and the Bearcat Break Room, where we speak with student athletes, coaches, and administration of Binghamton University. You can find all of our content with Binghamton by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will be right there on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt with the Bearcats. And there's also a Binghamton playlist on our YouTube channel. You can find the Bearcats on 2 places, on wakeupcalldt.com, on the homepage, and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to bubearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, definitely make sure you check out my conversation with Gene Marshall of Binghamton University that we aired this week. It's on our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel, both facebook.com and youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Want to thank Carvel, DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. I want to thank Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding for the top dog of the week. Want to thank my good buddy and fellow broadcaster and writer Ross Turetsky for his incredible self, just being who he is and everything he brings to the table. And God bless him and his family. And Mike Aresco is going to be coming up in a separate special, as we had to adjust with his day here, as this is his final day as the commissioner of the American Athletic Conference. So with that being said, find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And in the meantime, I want to tell you that I cannot wait to see you tonight at Heritage Hill. We'll be at Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York, with the CNS North Stars girls lacrosse team tonight, May 31st at 6 p.m. I cannot wait to see you there. And as always, I leave you with God bless, no stress, do your best, chase your dreams, and don't be afraid to catch them.